Hello, everybody. Valentin Todorow from Elire here. Today, we're going to do a deep dive and focus on the monitoring aspect of the new AI Agent Studio monitoring capabilities. So again, within the Agent Studio, there are the new tabs that we have at the bottom for credentials and monitoring and evaluation. Again, monitoring and evaluation is targeted at giving you the confidence that these agents were thoroughly tested, monitoring how quick and how well they're able to respond to the user, be able to gauge how many tokens they leveraged, and the latency based on a P50 or a P99, and we'll describe what those are in a second. So first things first, we're in the monitoring tab at the top of monitoring and evaluation. Again, we will do a separate video deep dive in evaluations, but for now, we're going to look at the monitoring. And you can easily, filter down at the top to a specific agent if you wanted to, or product family. Again, those are great new features. You'll have the high-level cumulative and aggregate of all of your agents in your system with what the error rate was, the counts of errors or sessions, and again, the latency in milliseconds of how long it took for 99% of the users, average mean, and the total tokens used as a whole. Okay. And as you switch the tabs, of course, this header count as well and aggregate changes. So great little feature. So that's that. Now, out of the box, if you get into AI Agent Studio and you come into here, even though you've been interacting with agents and users have been interacting, you might notice that it's always blank. Like, why is this not updating? Well, one of the prerequisites is that you have to actually run a process to aggregate these. So we'll switch over to Tools, Schedule a Process. We're going to schedule a new process. And what you want to do here is you want to search for the agent. So we'll search agent, and it's right here. It's Aggregate AI Agent Use and Metrics, right? You have the process one from earlier videos where we looked at ingesting a document through the AI Agent Studio, running this process to effectively chunk that document, vectorize it, store it within a 26 AI database so that you can do RAG calls to that agent. The one we're focusing on is the aggregate usage and metrics data. So what you want to do is we'll select that, we'll run that specific job, and then once that job completes, you'll actually have the metrics in that new page itself, these metrics right here. Okay, so that's a prerequisite, just FYI, so you guys know it, right? Again, this table below that shows all of the agents, the number of times that agent has been run, and the family and product that it belongs to. Again, those are filterable criteria at the top. Created, their error rates, and the error count as well. Okay, so you see some of these have pretty high errors, some have lower. Drilling down into this will actually give you more granular details only on that specific agent. So this is some kind of union plan summary agent. Not sure what it does, but it's an agent, and you can actually see that it tells you, again, the aggregate at the top, but then it breaks down how much this took. And I'm sure once that process finishes, we'll probably get some metrics on input tokens, output tokens, and the total tokens used, right? For a quick kind of deep dive, tokens are effectively, and they depend on the embedding model and the LLM you're using. They can be as simple as a character or a word, depends on what the breakdown is of the LLM you're using, but that's in effect what it means. When we drill down even further, maybe we want to look at this first one that ran and did not work. Obviously, there's some kind of API. You'll see the overall trace. This one, and of course, when you click in that, you'll see that no agents were found. So somebody tried to run a team without an agent, and of course, it had no output, right? Let's actually pick something else, because that one didn't have a lot. Maybe one of these better ones that's 50/50 AI invoice agent. Okay, one error, one complete. Let's see if the complete has a little more info. There you go. So this is the trace capability. So the overall at the top will give you the full trace. This agent took 3.8 seconds. It looks like there was a single prompt from the user, and then two LLM calls were made. Okay, and you can actually drill down, see what the input values were from the user prompt, from the prompt template itself, from any tools, and then the output from that LLM. I can certainly help you with that. What's the next step you want to do? And then, of course, the user prompted, provided some additional info and content, and then there was an output at that time. Okay, I have an access to payments for invoice 2. Please check with accounting. So it wasn't the greatest response, right? But that's also something you can gauge with the evaluation. All right. Again, this is monitoring, and the monitoring will happen in any kind of production AI agent system. You always want to be doing the monitoring, whereas the evaluation you really want to focus on for pre-production in non-prod environments as you're testing the system altogether. Okay. Let me refresh this real quick. Okay, jumping back to the overall monitoring and evaluation. Again, we can just keep choosing new ones to see how the overall progress was. Here's another sales agent. Again, there's 2 errors, and we can inspect. Again, we can drill down into these, look at the calls. So this one is a little more advanced. It's got LLM calls, the business objects being called, different tools. See, there's a sales tool as well, and LLM calls. So you can kind of track and look at the duration. And maybe optimize. Maybe the prompt needs to be optimized because this prompt was taking too long. This is actually the tool call. We'll close that one out. Here's the document call, so you can see how long it took for it to retrieve, do this vector search for similarity, retrieve the documents was 5 seconds. Maybe that can be refined even further. And then the LLM and how many tokens, output and input tokens it took. Okay. Again, a really nice way to view your agents, and as you refine them, you can also compare the outputs or track down any issues with API calls. Again, just another glimpse and way to monitor your agents. So hopefully you found this video useful. We'll catch you guys next time. Thanks for watching.